Moreton, Wirral, October 30th, 2022. Just after 1 in the morning, a knock at the door. She answers it. 2 shots, close range. The men walk away unhurried, like they'd just delivered something, because to them, they had. She hadn't robbed them, hadn't crossed them, hadn't touched their operation. Not once. So why her door? Why her? Jacqueline Rutter, Jackie, 53 years old, 36 Meadowbrook Road, Moreton, Wirral, her home. She was a mother, 6 children, a grandmother, 5 grandchildren, people who called her mum, people who called her Nan, people who, after that night, would spend the rest of their lives measuring time by what came before it and what came after. Now, there is a detail in this case that needs to be addressed directly. Jackie had a lifelong drug addiction. That is the truth. And it matters, for one reason only. It explains how she knew the people who killed her. She bought drugs from the JJ line. That was the connection. She was a customer, nothing more. She had no involvement in their operation, no role, no knowledge of their internal disputes, no part in what her sons did 2 days before her death. None. And yet, she was the one who answered the door. She was the one who took 2 bullets in her own hallway. So, who were they? The JJ line, a drug operation, Wirral-based, running out of Merseyside. At the head of it, James Byrne, 21 years old at the time of the murder, no fixed address, young, but not inexperienced, not naive. Byrne ran the operation around a dedicated phone, a drug line where customers call a number, place an order, and someone shows up. Organized, structured, efficient, in the way criminal enterprises become efficient when the people running them take them seriously. And Byrne took it seriously, because in the world he operated in, reputation was the only currency that mattered. Reputation meant you got paid. Reputation meant people feared crossing you. Reputation meant you stayed in business. Lose it, and everything else goes with it. October 28th, 2022, 2 days before Jackie Rutter opened her front door. Her sons, Peter Rutter and Stephen Rutter, made a decision. They taxed the JJ line. Taxed. That's the word used in the underworld for what they did. They robbed them. The JJ line phone, the dedicated device the entire operation ran through. Drugs, cash, gone, taken, in one move, now. In any other context, a theft is a theft. You report it, or you absorb the loss, or you move on. But this wasn't any other context. This was the drug underworld. And in that world, being robbed isn't just a financial loss, it's a public statement. It says, you can be taken from. It says, you didn't see it coming. It says, you are not untouchable. For someone like Byrne, building a reputation on control and fear, that was intolerable. He couldn't absorb it, couldn't ignore it, couldn't let it pass without a response. Because if the Rutter brothers could rob him without consequence, who was next? So he decided there would be consequences, severe ones, visible ones, the kind that sent a message loud enough that nobody would need to ask twice. He just chose the wrong target to send it through. They planned it, carefully, over. 2 days, a stolen Vauxhall Insignia was sourced, a Ford C-Max arranged separately, a pre-planned switch between the 2 vehicles, masks, a firearm, and petrol, not for warmth, for the burn, to destroy whatever they left behind. Each man had a role. James Byrne, the shooter, the one who would stand at the door and pull the trigger. Barry Glynn, behind the wheel of the Insignia, driving the group to the scene and away from it. Simon Allen, older than the rest, 55 years old. He ran reconnaissance earlier that day, parked the getaway Ford C-Max in position, bought the petrol, and when it was done, poured it. David Harrison, 59 years old, transport before, clean up after. A supporting role, but a role nonetheless. And then there was a 5th man, at the door with Byrne that night. Unidentified. He fled the country before charges could be brought. He is still wanted. Now, here's the question this plan raises, and it is the question that sits at the center of this entire case. Jackie's sons robbed the gang, Peter Rutter, Stephen Rutter. They took the phone, the drugs, the cash. They were the ones who humiliated the JJ line. So why didn't Byrne go after them? Why did he send men with a firearm to their mother's door? Why Jackie? Drop a comment. Why do you think they targeted the mother instead of the sons? I want to know what you think, because the answer, when it comes, says something deeply uncomfortable about how these networks operate, and we'll get to it. October 30th, 2022, just after 1 in the morning, Meadowbrook Road, Moreton. The Vauxhall insignia moves through the dark. Glynn behind the wheel, Byrne inside, the third man beside him, masks on. They know where they're going. They've been there before. They know the street, know the house, know the door. The car stops. Byrne and the third man get out. Walk toward 36 Meadowbrook Road. They knock. A knock at the door. Just after 1 in the morning, and Jackie Rutter answers it, 53 years old, in her own home. She opens the door, 2 shots, point blank. From a self-loading handgun, fired directly into her chest. She staggers back inside, the doorstep she'd just been standing on, now behind her. The men turn, walk away, unhurried, back to the car. The insignia moves, a short distance away. Alan is waiting, petrol in hand. He pours it over the insignia, strikes the flame. The car burns. The Ford C-Max is already positioned. The group moves into it, and they leave, just like that. Within minutes of 2 shots being fired into a woman's chest, the vehicle was gone, burning. The street was quiet again, and Jackie Rutter was dying on the floor of her own home, alone. By the time anyone realized what had happened, the evidence was already burning. Merseyside police arrived to a crime scene with almost nothing. No eyewitnesses to the shooting itself. No forensic evidence directly linking anyone to the trigger. A burned-out car, and a Ford C-Max that had already been scrapped. 2 days after the murder, the group had thought about every angle. Stolen vehicle, burned, getaway car, destroyed, masks worn throughout. On the surface, it looked like they'd covered it. They hadn't. Because you can burn a car, you can scrap a Ford, you can put a mask on your face, but you cannot burn CCTV footage that already exists. You cannot scrap the phone data that's already been logged. You cannot mask a vehicle's movement across a city of cameras. Merseyside police started pulling threads. The insignia had moved through the area before the fire. Cameras caught it, frame by frame. The Ford C-Max, traced. Even after scrapping, the paper trail existed. Phone data placed each man, not at the scene, but close enough. Close enough to build a timeline that a jury could follow, thread by thread, camera by camera, call by call. The investigation took time, months of it. 28th January 2026, Liverpool Crown Court. 15 hours of deliberation. 15 hours of weighing every camera frame, every phone record, every vehicle movement against every defense argument made across 3 months of trial. And then, the verdicts. James Byrne, guilty of murder. Guilty of possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life. Guilty of arson. Unanimous, Simon Allen. Guilty of murder. Guilty of the firearm offense. Guilty of arson. Unanimous. David Harrison, guilty of murder. Guilty of the firearm offense. Guilty of arson. Unanimous. Barry Glynn, not murder, manslaughter. 10 votes to 2. Plus the firearm and arson counts. 4 verdicts. Read one after another, and then something happened in that doc that said more about James Byrne than anything the jury had just decided. He picked up a water bottle and threw it at a co-defendant's head in open court, seconds after being convicted of murder. That moment, that single, petty, furious gesture told you exactly who James Byrne was. Sentencing came the following morning, 29th of January, 2026. Mr. Justice Goose presided. He did not use soft language. He described what happened at 36 Meadowbrook Road as carefully planned, carefully carried out, a killing for revenge, involving significant preparation, group action, and deliberate destruction of evidence. Then he passed sentence. James Byrne, life imprisonment, minimum term, 40 years. Before he is even eligible for parole consideration, 40 years. He is 24 years old. Simon Allen, life imprisonment, minimum term, 27 years and 70 days. David Harrison, life imprisonment. Minimum term, 25 years and 70 days. Barry Glynn, 30 years total. 20 for manslaughter, 10 consecutive for the firearm offense. He must serve at least 2/3 before release. Combined across all four, 124 years. The judge's words about Jackie were precise. He said she was the victim of the extreme violence that is a common currency of drug dealers. Common currency. Two words that carry the weight of everything wrong with what happened on that street. Her life, exchanged like it was a transaction. Now, there is one more detail about James Byrne that has to be said. He was already serving a life sentence, a prior conviction, attempted murder, firearms offenses, sentenced in September 2024. Minimum term, 18 years and 8 months. He shot Jackie Rutter while that sentence was active, while he was supposed to be facing the consequences of the last time he used a firearm on a human being. He did it again. 40 years minimum for Byrne. Is that justice for Jackie? Let me know below. 3 things before we go. First, Jackie Rutter was not collateral damage. That phrase gets used in cases like this. Innocent bystander, wrong place, wrong time. None of that applies here. She was chosen, deliberately. Her address was visited in advance. Reconnaissance was run on her home. Her door was the door they decided to knock on. And the reason is the most disturbing part of this entire case. Her sons robbed the gang, but going after her sons carried risk. They might fight back. They might be ready. Targeting Jackie sent a message that required no confrontation at all. She was defenseless. She was accessible, and hurting her would hurt them, more than anything else could. In the logic of the underworld, the innocent make better targets than the guilty, because the innocent have no way to defend themselves, and their suffering lands louder. Second, a man was at that door with Byrne, unidentified. He left the country before he could be charged. He is still wanted, still free. This case, despite 4 convictions, is not fully closed. Somewhere, the person who stood beside James Byrne on that doorstep is still out there. Third, no eyewitnesses, no forensics on the shooter, a burned car, a scrapped Ford, and yet 4 convictions. Built from CCTV, phone data, vehicle movements, patient, methodical, unglamorous detective work. The kind that doesn't look like much from the outside, until it puts people away for a combined total of 124 years. Jackie's family said what needed to be said, simply, without decoration. She loved her children, she loved her grandchildren, and what happened to her destroyed their family. Not complicated, not ambiguous, just true. Jackie Rutter opened her front door at 1 in the morning, an ordinary thing, something any of us would do. She didn't know what was standing on the other side of it. She never had a chance to find out. And 4 men who planned it, drove it, shot it, and burned the evidence will spend the next several decades thinking about that knock, whether they want to or not. If you stayed until the end, thank you. Jackie Rutter deserved better than what happened to her. The least we can do is make sure her story is told properly. If this mattered to you, like the video, subscribe for more cases covered this way, and drop a comment on the sentence, on the third man still out there, on Jackie herself. I'll see you in the next one.